Hey there, welcome back to No Pants Profits. This is probably the most insane and ballsiest video I've ever done. Before I get started, I want to let you know I am a fan. In the last 9 months, I have seen this show 3 times. It is the best magic show in Vegas. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm a fan. I'm not a member of a magic society, the Magic Castle, or anything like that. And the reason I'm about to do what I'm going to do is because I want to see David have one more brand new show in him. David keeps talking about blocking the moon and stuff like that, and there's rumors he was on Epstein's list and everything like that. But yes, I'm about to spoil David Copperfield's entire 2024 show that he's been doing for like 10 years in front of his own theater. I know it seems crazy. Why would I do this? Again, David, don't sue me. I'm not a magician. I just want to give you my opinion on how these tricks are done after seeing them 3 times and knowing the magic world a bit. I did do this after the 3rd time I saw him, but there was still one trick I didn't understand, and now I do. So please join me for revealing all of David Copperfield's tricks. If you don't want to know how the tricks are done, or if you haven't seen the show, please don't watch this, because unfortunately, they don't let you have any cameras in, and that's actually part of one of the tricks. Nobody has real cameras, but I can't go in with a real camera or anything like that. But if you take your camera out, they're going to take a green laser, they're going to point it at you, and you're going to get ejected from the show. Trust me, that green laser comes into play a little bit later. That was the last piece I was missing. So let's talk about the show. I'm going to talk about the tricks in order. Again, the show's not happening until about 7 o'clock tonight. It's about noon. But I am in front of his theater talking about it. So, to start with the show, they do have you send David an email. That is called Email from the Future. That's the name of the trick. We will get back to that in a minute. But you send David an email to me@davidcopperfield.com, and you'll get an email back once David comes on stage. But how David comes on stage is using something called a shadow box. I'll give you a simple metric. What they do is they take a giant box that you can take lights, put them on all sides of the box and show. And essentially what they do is, you see this Gatorade bottle right here? I want you to imagine this Gatorade bottle is a motorcycle. There's a box. We're going to use a POS terminal. This is the box that David appears in. And here's what they do. They show the box as completely empty. They come around the back side. They put a flashlight through it and they show it as empty. But you see that Gatorade bottle in the back? That's where Copperfield really is. So once they show the box as empty, boom, that Gatorade bottle is slid into, no matter how big the prop is, we call it forklift in the back. But essentially, after the box finishes rotating, they just push it in from the back. Now, they've done this, the magicians have done this for years. You'll usually do it with a woman and not with a guy on a motorcycle, but that's all a shadow box is. It's a scaled up version of what you might see at like your local carnival, where there's a box and the guy puts a light in the middle and there's shadows and then the woman comes to life. Yeah, that's how Copperfield gets on stage. It's literally, they have a box. Here's our box again. And Copperfield on the motorcycle are back here. Once they rotate the box around, they'll push them up towards the box. They'll go in front of this section. You see how there's a gap there to actually show the light. And then once they've sealed the box up and ready to go, just push the motorcycle into the back wall of the box. So David shows up, and one of the first tricks he does is called Email from the Future. Essentially, David makes a prediction, takes a picture of it on stage and sends it to you and says, do not open the attachment. Well, here's what happens if you do open the attachment. You see kind of a blank document that doesn't have information on it. It's not nearly as good as what you're going to see at the end. So if you don't believe me, please go ahead and open the attachment before David says to open the attachment. Here's what it looks like before all the tricks happen. Okay. And we'll talk about how it looks like after. But you can see it's very vague there. And then David does another trick. I have the hands to do this. This is a magician. This is a trick that David might have invented, might have bought, which is just a very simple, let's back it up. They like to do this trick where they go, take your hands and put them like this, and then you go like that, and you get thumbs up. You might say, How do they do that? Well, if you watch David, what he'll do is he'll tell you to go like this, and then he'll correct someone in the audience. So he'll go, you're going to go like this. I'm not a magician. And then he'll go like that. Well, he has reset his hands different than the audience has, and guess what? He can go like that. Very interesting way to do that trick. I've seen so many magicians do it. It's a classic misdirection. You correct an audience member while you reset yourself to be able to actually do that trick. Again, email from the future we'll get back to at the end because they get back to it at the end. But the email from the future, very generic. Next trick. He is going to vanish an audience member. I've seen this show 3 times. 2 out of the 3 times it's been the same audience member, the same story. I guess it was the guy's day off. One of the 3 times I saw it, so he's got 2 or 3 for that. Here's the important thing to know about that trick. Everyone involved in the audience, setting it up and everything, is dressed in black. And why they're dressed in black is because the guy is dressed in like a bright orange shirt. Oh look, kind of like what I'm wearing today. He's dressed in a bright orange shirt, so you know that if you'd see him disappear from the middle of the audience, you'd see him go away. They set up a whole bunch of platforms and stuff like that, but what they have is they have a whole bunch of stage techs that are dressed in black. Whole bunch of different stage technicians that are dressed in black. And all that happens is the guy just puts some black clothes on and walks away with the stage technicians, then winds up on stage. What he does is he just goes down below the platform. They've got the stage technicians watching the platform, keeping the platform tight, lighting the platform. Well, then you can do it. And then all Copperfield's doing, I know this, I'm not a magician, but I do study magic. Copperfield's using a derivation of what's called a Svengali table. No, a Svengali deck. Sorry, I'm not a magician, huh? A floating table, sorry. He's using a floating table, and that floating table effect is making his head kind of look like it's shaped like that. And the guy's already escaped a minute ago. When he does that, there is a slit on the left side of the theater. You can actually see it. It's about 3 rows back on the left side of the theater. There's a slit in the wall. That is where the guy goes into. You might say, Rich, how do you know about the slit in the wall? Well, I know about the slit in the wall because the first time I saw the show, David came out of the slit in a trick we're going to talk about a little bit later. But it's on the left side of the theater, about 3 rows back. You'll see carpeting and you'll see like a slit in the wall. I might have a picture of it somewhere. If I do, I'll insert it here. It's hard to see if you don't know what you're looking for, but I happen to have David come out right down that slit, and then the guy appears on the stage. Ta-da, ta-da. Now, I want to talk about the most technically impressive magic trick in the show, which they call lotto prediction, grandpa's car, a lot of things like that. It's the trick that, it's almost the trick that got me the longest, but it's not the trick that got me the longest. The trick that got me the longest was the balloon trick, and it's the easiest trick in the world. Grandpa's car. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trick. I hate to spoil this. The reason I'm spoiling this is because I want to see Copperfield do something better. I want to see him do something new. Look, I know Copperfield can't fly anymore, and that's why he probably sold that effect to Chris Angel, which does the flying effect in his show, and it's pretty much the only good trick in Chris Angel's show. But let's get back to the car. The lottery numbers. They are completely, truly, honestly a free choice. Every time I've seen it, they've been different. The license plates that are produced at the end are actually embossed with the lottery numbers on it. David Copperfield has, in the back of his theater, a license plate press. I know it sounds crazy that the guy would have a license plate press, but this is the kind of crazy money you're dealing with someone who does 15 shows a week. He has a license plate press in the back, and he actually presses the license plates every single time. Now, I find that significantly more impressive than someone like Shin Lim, who always uses the 4 of hearts and has effects that always go to the 4 of hearts. David Copperfield actually gives the audience a free choice of their numbers. How do we know that those numbers are a free choice? Well, because shit me, they ain't in the email. They're not in the beginning email from the future. They're in the ending email from the future. So, since they're not in the beginning email from the future, that does mean that they're not a force. They're actually, truly, honestly a free choice. Well, there's a box hanging from the ceiling. How does he get in the box? It's locked from the front, the left side, the right side, the front side, and the back side. You know where those boxes are never locked from? The bottom. They bring a special thing to the stage to always put those boxes on. And when they bring that special thing to the stage, it's got everything loaded on it. Let's talk about another component of the trick, the voice recording. That is actually a beautiful point of the trick, because the voice recording is he gives it to someone on a USB drive in the end. It is a Wi-Fi connected or some type of technology, likely Wi-Fi connected boombox that's got a USB port on it, and it actually is a computer itself or a Raspberry Pi. They transmit David talking about the multiple outs. That's why he could only have a certain number of things, a certain number of things people could say. You know, pick a number between 1 and 99, and they've got a computer program, almost like a soundboard per se, that they can go, okay, 1, 2, and Copperfield going 3, 4, then you go tidy whities. Then you can go, you haven't gotten busy in 10 days, months, years. He's got all of these outs. He spent so much time putting all of these outs, recording every possible outcome, which I think is stunning. I think it's beautiful that he's gone ahead and done that. And then the last part of the trick, so the lotto numbers are completely random. The license plates are made backstage on a license plate printing press. Similar to Nathan Burton, I'm going to give away one of Nathan Burton's tricks. Nathan Burton has a trick where he asks someone to name any cereal. And Nathan Burton has an index of over 150 cereals in the back. People can name obscure cereals, and Nathan Burton has them. You know, Christmas Crunch Berries, Valentine's Crunch Berries, I am Captain Crunch. Copperfield actually makes the props live for that trick. And then he literally makes a car appear. Here's an important thing about Copperfield's show that you won't see anywhere else, and it's super duper duper important. There's no fixed LED back wall. That becomes useful for a couple of tricks. But essentially, they can fly in from the back of the theater whatever they want. The only way to get that car in is to bring it in through the back. When Copperfield goes on tour, some places, that car, the jalopy trick, does not work because the stage won't support it. It doesn't have room in the back. I hate to say, I said with my friend Kirsten, I said, forklift from the back. Forklift from the back. Great trick. The car is actually heavy. It's not a fully functioning car, but you know, it is actually heavy. Copperfield can get into it. It's got a smoke machine in the back and everything like that, and he attaches those actual inspectable real license plates. David, I would love it. I think it would make your show so much better if you literally, as people were coming out of the theater right here, you had the license plates so people could handle and go, holy shit, those are real license plates. Because he literally does the entire license plate thing for one spectator. One person to say that those are actual license plates. Out of the 1,000 people in the theater, one person gets to see the license plate. Copperfield is literally doing that entire trick with the license plates, printing license plates in the back for one person. Now, I want to talk about the trick that was the next trick in line. I'm remembering these tricks. I don't have them written down or anything. If this show is literally so memorable, I'm remembering these tricks. I hopefully don't forget any. Trick that was really memorable was the balloon trick. Simplest trick in the world once I figured out how it works. But you remember we talked about those green lasers? Well, Copperfield uses the green lasers instead of red lasers to point people out because you can make a green laser significantly hotter. Now, he pops one balloon out in the middle of the audience. That balloon can be popped in a couple of different ways. That could be popped with like a blasting cap inside the balloon because that balloon's not inspected, or it could be done the easier way with a green laser. If anybody sees a green laser out in the audience, he's already shown that that's just to show people that happen to have their phone out and be recording the show. But, you know, you could do it with some explosives too, but here's where it gets impressive. He takes a black balloon, puts it inside of a clear balloon. And then the black balloon inside the clear balloon pops. That was the one that fooled me until I Googled it. And it's a science experiment. The laser goes right through the clear balloon and pops the black balloon. I know. That's crazy. You would have never thought. The laser just goes right through the clear balloon, pops the black balloon. Bang. Simple, easy, everything like that. And you can fully inspect it afterwards. There's nothing in it. There's nothing there. Look. Beautiful trick, beautiful show. I'm not sure he created that, but I need to talk about the pièce de résistance of this show. The most technically impressive trick is the car appearance and the license plate. But the most visually impressive trick Copperfield does is the single best 20 minutes of magic I've ever seen in my life. It's called Blue 32. And what Blue 32 is, it's an alien. See, we're right in front of Copperfield Theater. There's very few pictures of Blue that exist. It's an alien. That's about this, it's about 3 times the size of this, VLU 32. And his father, David Copperfield's father, was actually in Area 51. So, hey, David Copperfield's father was actually in Area 51. So he tells this whole story about his father, an alien, other stuff like that. It is a stunningly beautiful trick. Stan Winston made Blue 32. I found out through some people. It is the most impressive animatronic I've ever seen in my life. If you come just see this animatronic, I have a friend who was with me. Hey, don't sue her, bro. She was just with me. I'm giving my opinion. I have a friend that was with me that she used to work at Disney. She's seen every animatronic in the world. The Blue 32 animatronic that Stan Winston, I think, Stan Winston made is the most impressive animatronic I've seen in my life. But after 3 shows, there are some things about it I want to talk about. First of all, there are essentially 2 places where the animatronic recharges during the show. And one of those places is used for both the appearance and the disappearance of the animatronic. And I want you to kind of look at the left-hand side. There's a box on the stage which Copperfield makes the animatronic appear and disappear from. He basically goes into this big box that's on the stage. And unfortunately, I hate to say this because I hate this in Vegas shows. Copperfield uses camera tricks here. How do I know he uses camera tricks? Well, because during that segment, there's a lady that's shown 3 times. The same lady has been shown in all 3 of my shows. It's a recorded segment. Well, once we know that's a recorded segment, other things can be a recorded segment too. So the box the alien comes from, he shows that box as empty. Then he closes up the box. When he closes up the box, the alien slides up from that big box on the bottom. And guess what? When that alien slides up from the big box on the bottom, it's in the box. But wait, Richard, they put a plexiglass box in the middle of the audience and the alien appears. And there's a cameraman that shows David's hands and shows the box is empty. Guess what? That box is empty. That's a camera trick. There's another camera trick that comes later. I fucking hate it because it feels like I'm watching the Chris Angel show. I understand that that's the only way he can appear and vanish that robot, though. Other than that, I believe that every other feat of the robot, other than the appearance and the disappearance, is a live, true-to-life, honest feed of what that robot really looks like. I've seen it from the second row. It is the most visually impressive robot I have ever seen in my life, period. I want to be very clear, that alien predates Baby Yoda by years. Now, is it stamps? I want to make sure I get the name right. Again, I'm not a magician. I want to be very clear that I am not a magician. Stan Winston, yeah. Stan Winston is the one who made it. He made all the dinosaurs for Jurassic Park and everything like that. That robot had to cost Copperfield millions of dollars. David, change the rest of your show. Don't touch Blue 32. It's one of the most technically impressive tricks I've ever seen, but it's not the trick. It's the alien. Now, there were some other things that were done during that. And I was going to say, David Copperfield's little Baby Yoda, which I'm going to call it that, predated the actual Baby Yoda by a couple years. I thought the first time I saw it, I'm like, David ripped off Baby Yoda. No, Baby Yoda ripped off David. Now, there's some other little tricks that happen inside of that. There is a prediction trick that's about the time stone and everything like that. It's all narrative BS, but essentially, I hate to say it, that's another camera trick that in the end is actually produced and given to the person in the audience because they print it out in the back. It's a camera trick that has been hanging there the whole time. They can zoom in. There's a force on a celebrity. There's a couple things like that I've seen the same trick over and over, but it's a beautiful trick. It's a beautiful trick inside. And then, for the last part of the trick, David makes a UFO appear. First time I saw that was the single best magic trick I've ever seen. Then, I started doing research. That UFO is a blimp. How do I know? Well, because David had a contract to allow Disney to license that trick and had to talk about it in court. That UFO is a blimp. Now, here's the question. How did the UFO get there? Very good question. The UFO is a blimp. How did the UFO get there? Well, you saw where the UFO went at the end. All they did was position it on a dark stage and covered it in what's called Vanta Black. They have a cover of Vanta Black, which is the darkest color black that exists. No light reflects off it whatsoever. They bring these really bright lights to the front of the stage and they put it behind it. It does take about 5 seconds for it to appear. I have a theory on how it appears. Again, it's just flying out. Let's not lie. It's just flying out. There's nothing special there because it flies back to exactly where it came from. That's one of those things. You're really impressed the first time, and the second time, the third time, you know it's coming. How do they get it out so fast? Well, my theory is, hey, Copperfield used to fly through that theater, so some of the flying lines are probably still in this David Copperfield theater. So they'll just attach it to one flying line, guide it out, have a release on the blimp, and then they just fly the blimp back in. It is the size of about 2 school buses. Giant theater, blimp shows up the size of about 2 school buses and flies back. And flies back into where it once came, which is David Copperfield has a giant storage facility in the back of his theater. I mean, literally, we're here. Let's not talk theory. I know this because after the show, I saw all the employees kind of coming out of this area back here. If you want to know where the blimp actually is, it's back here. This is the depth. This is the depth of David's stage. I'm not coming here. I don't want to get myself in trouble or banned from the MGM. But back here, yeah, MGM beverage department. But there's a place that there's a giant helium blimp stored. Now, if you don't want to see David Copperfield and you want to see what those blimps look like more practically, you can go to Planet 13, which is a wacky tobacco shop. Let's just go like that. That's off the strip. And they do a blimp show with 5 blimps. Maybe I'll put the blimp clips in here. I don't know. But they do a blimp show with 5 blimps. They're very similar to Copperfield's blimps, but in a much smaller perspective, if that makes sense. But very, very similar to Copperfield's blimps. Now, the appear, the disappear of the blimp, beautiful. Then, he has to make the alien disappear. Again, unfortunately, it's a camera trick. You'll notice the left side of the counter where the alien appears is exactly where the alien disappears. Also, we cut back to the lady with the root beer. You'll understand what that means. And I think what was amazing is that for the first time, the third show, I finally smelled the root beer. They actually pump root beer through the theater when the alien burps. And there's a smellitizer, that's a Disney term, but there's a smellitizer that they actually pump root beer smell through the theater. But David actually, he loads the alien and unloads the alien on the front left of the counter. And then, again, another camera trick makes the alien disappear. The alien disappearance is actually very similar to liquid in a newspaper, actually. Just the way it's performed is it's kind of like if you've ever seen Murray do Mr. Electric's routine where he pours a whole bunch of milk into a cone. David does that with an alien in a blanket, but essentially it's the same trick. But yeah, that is a camera trick. And how I discover that these are both camera tricks is, again, after seeing the same lady 3 times. When you see the same show over and over, you notice different things. We got 2 more things to talk about here. 3 more things to talk about here. Copperfield, we'll talk about these tricks individually. Copperfield then disappears from the stage. It's great, and they even have some fake legs at the bottom of the thing, but he's just ducking out the back, and it's a shadow box again. It's a goddamn shadow box again. You can see under the sheet, but you can't see behind the sheet. So he just steps out back, goes back in the back of the stage. Now, remember I told you there's that flap in about the 3rd row going back on the left-hand side? Well, that's where he pops out of to reveal after that. He tells the whole story about his dad, uses the time stone, goes back and visits his dad. That's a little slow at times. He's cleaned it up over the years, but the effect is still the effect. Now, there's 2 more tricks left. Blue 32 is the best 20 minutes of magic I've ever seen in a 70-minute, it's a 70-minute show, but it's the best 20 minutes of magic I've ever seen, and I will watch that over and over and over and still be amazed every time, mainly because of the animatronic in the spaceship. the rest of it's really not that impressive. So after that, David is all about bringing his dinosaur friend back, and that is a super duper impressive animatronic, but you can tell when they slide the animatronic in. Again, it's another shadow box. Remember back to about 22 minutes ago, there's a box. We can go to the front, the back, the sides. We can rotate it. It is truly empty. And then we start sliding something in behind it, and when we want to show the back, we're using our flashlight right there so it doesn't reflect on the Gatorade bottle. That's a simple shadow box. You can tell when they put the dinosaur in because there is a tether for how it all works. What's amazing, let me go back one step. What's amazing about Blue 32 is Blue 32 has no tether. Blue 32, the robot, is so visually impressive that Copperfield can carry the robot around, but it only has battery life in it for a couple minutes. So he has, believe it or not, he has two things. He has the box that the robot's produced from, which is pretty much where the whole thing's running from. And then he's also got a stool that the robot sits on. And the stool, if you look at the base of the stool, it's a lot thicker than it should be. It's sitting on a platform, kind of elevated, and all the gadgetry to run him in the stool is right there. I think the alien has contacts on his butt and on his feet. But it is visually beautifully impressive, that alien. The dinosaur, it's impressive how it's produced, but the dinosaur himself is bigger and scarier, but not nearly as technically impressive as Blue the alien. And Stan Winston made the dinosaur too. Again, this is probably 9 months of research to figure out this entire show. And then we come to the last trick, email from the future. We got a very, very broad email at the beginning that said, oh, you're going to bring back my grandpa's car. Oh, there's going to be someone with an unusual underwear choice. There's going to be someone who hasn't gotten busy for a while if you opened up before. But if you open up it after, all the numbers on the license plates will be there. All the names of the people will be there. They'll say, oh, this is a good one. This is a lady will travel somewhere exotic with a dear friend. If you open it before, and if you open it after, it says she's going to travel to Hawaii with her husband Bob, or something like that. That is email from the future. It's literally, who uses a similar trick? Similar trick's actually used by Nathan Burton. I love Nathan. Nathan, I'm not blowing you up. I'm not blowing up your whole show, but I love Nathan's tricks. I've seen his show a couple of times, so I can talk about his show as well. It is a real Vegas magic show. I've done other reviews of Nathan, but Nathan does a trick where you take out your phone and the card that's selected is in Harry Houdini's eyeballs. Well, the most popular card someone will select in Magic is the Ace of Spades. So before anybody selects a card, his eyeballs say the Ace of Spades. Once somebody selects a card, they just update the HTML. All David's doing is when you open the email, you're downloading the attachment. So he changes the attachment after all of the choices that could happen during the show happened. Does that make sense? I think it should make sense. And just that attachment's updated. Now what you'll notice is he has people sign this thing and everything like that, but he never actually shows that document on camera. Ever. He never shows that document on a live feed. Why does he never show that document on a live feed? Because there's nothing on that document. That's a simple metric. A whole bunch of people signed the document, including Plants, because he always makes the butt corn joke. So, one of his people signed it with the butt corn. The document stays around the guy's neck the entire time. He brings the document on the stage, and he Willy Wonka's it. You familiar with Willy Wonka's contract? In the Willy Wonka, he goes, etc., 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 so more, but never really talks about the contract. David mumbles a bit and brings up some people's names and stuff like that, but he never actually shows that on a live camera feed because it's just the generic letter that you saw in the beginning. There's no numbers, there's nothing personalized or anything like that. I am now satisfied. I am at the point that after seeing it 3 times, I saw it in July 2023, I saw it in November 2023, and I just saw it in March of 2024. I am at the point that I now understand the entire show. I have studied it. I've looked at every trick. I've looked at everything. Might I have gotten a couple things here technically wrong? Yes, but that's because I'm not a magician. But like I said in the beginning, Dave, I do this out of love. I still say when someone goes, what do I go see in Vegas? I say, he's tired. Look, Dave, I get it. You're old. Watch, let me ask Siri. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Oh, God. Let's try my phone. Hey, Siri. How old is David Copperfield? David Copperfield, hold on. I got to get his age. He is 67 years old. Okay, he used to be married to Claudia Schiffer, 67-year-old guy. He can't fly, he can't do those things anymore, but he still has the most unusual, best magic show in the world. And I think the important thing is, when David Copperfield tells the audience that they have a free choice, his tricks are so fucking good that they actually have a free choice. David, I do this out of love. I don't need your lawyers involved. I'm not a magician. Don't come after me as a professional magician because I have no professional magic certifications. Am I a magic fan? Yes. Am I probably going to get banned from the Magic Castle for standing in front of David Copperfield's theater and telling people how his tricks are done? Maybe. But is this something that I've literally, I mean, not full time, but on and off, and especially when I'm in Vegas, I've spent 9 months of my life trying to figure out this show. And here's what I want, Dave. David, I'll be honest with you right now. I know this is a rough video, but it's also my opinion, and I'm in America, and I'm allowed to give this opinion. And I'm going to make you an offer to David and his lawyers. I know some of you watching this are not going to understand why I'm making this offer. I will take down this video for a tour of your warehouse. That's it. That's all I want. Give me a tour of the warehouse, and I'll take down the video. Dave, and I want David to do it personally. David has the best magic show in Vegas. Is he a tired 67-year-old guy? Yes. Do people like Nathan Burton, Shin Lim, and all of them have more energy? Yes. Is he the least energetic magician in Vegas? Probably, but he's been doing it forever. He's doing 15 shows a week. 15 beautiful shows a week. Dave, I don't want to come at you. I don't need cease and desist and stuff like that. But I want a new show. I want one more brand new David Copperfield show. As a kid, I was a member. Well, as younger, I was actually a member. I said I've seen David Copperfield one time, and I was a member of the 13. It's a trick Copperfield can't do anymore. What he would do is he would make 13 audience members disappear. I was one of them. And it's one of the first David Copperfield tricks I ever had spoiled. We can talk about in court how it works because David Copperfield got sued for that trick. Essentially, he takes 13 audience members, puts them in a shadow box. I know, we're going back to shadow box. And this one's actually a really cool trick because he gave us all flashlights. And what we were doing is we were all waving our flashlights. An assistant comes from the back of the thing, and our flashlights automatically turn off. But these robot flashlights in the box come on. They're up on the top of the box, and they're still waving like we're there. We're escorted off of a tiny plank into the back of the box, and we are ran through a kitchen. You might say, what the fuck do you mean you ran through a kitchen? We are ran through a kitchen in order to get back through this door and appear in the back of the audience. I remember that from 20 years ago. I'll tell you exactly where I came out of. I came out of this door. I came out of this food and beverage access only door. And you know what? Over the years, David has vanished thousands of groups of 13 people, and he had to retire that experiment. And David, that's one of the first magic tricks I ever had revealed to me. Because in order to move 13 people, you have to swear those 13 people to secrecy. You can look up the court case and everything like that. I want one more show. David's getting old. He's not going to be able to do 15 shows a week forever. Dave, again, hope I revealed this enough so that I don't want to spoil this. And like I said, David is a true professional. I can't really talk shit on him. He's just getting up there in age. I wish he'd turn around, sell his tricks to Nathan Burton, and give Nathan Burton his show. Go into retirement, collect a royalty from Nathan Burton, because I think Nathan has the energy to do what Copperfield no longer has. But you know what? Copperfield is motherfucking David Copperfield. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Again, David, my offer's simple. I want to see your warehouse. I want to go see it with you. And this video comes down. It's not extortion. It's literally a fan. And the whole reason I'm doing this, literally the entire reason I'm doing this, is because I want to see just one more show. One more unique show from the magician of the century, from the king of magic, the Society of American Magicians. Because, and I think you can see, like, the first time I saw that spaceship show up, that was an awesome trick. First time I saw a little alien come around, I was like, holy shit. He's without any CGI. There's some no CGI in the show. There's some pre-recorded clips that have to be there, because you can't make those things appear and disappear. David, I mean you no harm. I'm not here to harm you. I'm here to reveal these tricks so you put new ones in your show. So I can come back and see the show, because now that I know how it's done, it's hard to watch. You know, I finally figured it all out after seeing it the third time. So, from the front of the David Copperfield Theater in the MGM Grand, this is Richard from No Pants Profits. Whew. Sorry, reminding you that when you wear no pants and you don't change your show for 10 years, but you still have the best magic show in town, when you wear no pants. So that is not what Copperfield looks like anymore. When you wear no pants in front of the David Copperfield Theater and you reveal all his tricks, and the most ballsy move I've ever done. I was going to do this on a cruise ship or something, and I'm like, no, let me do it right in front of his own theater. You can't fake this. This is really like... That's his Emmy. So when you wear no pants, there's only one thing you've got left to lose. From in front of the David Copperfield Theater in the MGM Grand, that is your shirt. Have a great one. Love y'all. Any questions, comments, concerns, write them below. Again, David, nopantprofits@gmail.com. Let's set up that little tour of your warehouse. The video comes down right away. That's my offer.